Hey everyone, I hope everyone's doing great. I hope everyone's weekend is going spectacular. Sorry, you guys know that I'm always having to rearrange this camera. Sorry about that. Okay, well, I hope everyone's week oh my gosh, has been super fantastic. I know this week has just been like crazy for me, and I'm sure it's been crazy for everybody else. It feels so weird because I just did a video, and so feels kind of weird just a couple days later to be coming back and being like, hey guys. Okay, so today I want to talk about moving forward and positive thinking. I always talk about positive thinking, but I guess moving forward and moving on and how life goes on. Because unfortunately, I'm not unfortunately, fortunately, I'm getting older. And I feel like so blessed to be able to mature and to experience these things, but also I'm having to learn a lot about life. And the thing is that life hasn't even started for me yet. But I do think it's important to talk about moving forward and dealing with things. So if you didn't watch my video on Wednesday, it was just basically about the presidential election, and it wasn't, personal or political. I wasn't really expressing like any type of feelings towards anyone. I was basically just encouraging you guys to just cope with things that you can't change, and then use yourself and use the power that you have to change what you can. And for the things that you can't change, fight for what you believe in, because one person that is powerful doesn't mean that they take all the power away from you, and it doesn't mean that you're powerless. That's what I talked about. So today I want to talk about how to move forward from all of that. You don't necessarily have to be over it, and you can still be hurt or however you feel. And it doesn't even have to be about the presidential election, but just about moving forward and being the best person that you can be, because that's what life is about, growing and maturing. So basically I'll share my own experience. This year I'm a senior, and um, I do cross country. Like, I run. That's pretty much all I do besides some other stuff, but I run. And when I first started out, I actually really, really sucked at the sport. Like my first 5K was like a 48-minute, and I thought that was so good. Well, now, it's my fourth year in, and I've improved so much, and I think my PR is like a 22-minute. And at the start of the season, my coach said, okay, well, we're going to go to New York, and it's only the top 7, which is varsity. And like, I had always been on JV, so I was like, oh, like, there's no way that I'm gonna make top 7, but I'm gonna try and I'm gonna work my hardest. And I actually stayed on varsity for pretty much most of the season, and I did make it to New York, and that was like the biggest. That had to be like the most, like, I was so happy about that and so proud of myself for that, because I didn't expect to make it. And I worked so hard to keep that spot, and I worked so hard to make it to New York, and I did. And ironically, right after New York, my foot started hurting. And ever since then, I haven't been running the same. I've kind of had to cut back and, had to stop my training. And the thing about that is that um, I had stopped, I didn't stop running, but just, you know, um, running as intensely as I was. And so my workouts and stuff got cut back, a little bit. And so right after New York, I said, okay, well, I need a new goal. So I was thinking states, of course, like that's the next best thing, top 7. And, I didn't make it to states last year, so I was looking for some redemption. But because of my foot situation, I lost my spot, and it was really hard for me to maintain the speed that I kept going. So I lost a little bit of stamina, and so now I don't get to go to states. But something that I had a really long talk with myself, and I said the biggest goal at the start of the season was to make it to New York, and I got to do that. The second half, the goal for the second half was to make it to states, and I did everything that I could to make it, and I just didn't. And I talked with my mom, and my mom said, um, you have a reason for not making it. It's not like you just didn't do well. You were in pain. And something I'm so, that I have a really bad habit of doing, and I think this is for everyone, is that I'm so hard on myself. And sometimes I forget to look at the glass half full. I accomplished what was the biggest goal for me, and that was just to go to New York and to get a completely different experience, because I'm not going to be able to do that next year, even though I'll be in college. But like I'm not going to be able to do that next year. I'm not going to be able to go to New York with my friends and with this team, and this team means so much to me. So I had to, think about, just look forward and accept, unfortunately, that I didn't want this to happen, but it did. And but I can look back and I can say, you know what, like, I had a wonderful season and I accomplished my goal, and I may not have been able to accomplish everything, but you can't win them all. And so basically what I want to tell you guys is that no matter if you win or if you lose, my coach actually said this yesterday. He said, life goes on, the sun, or President Obama said the second part. He said, the sun will rise and it will shine tomorrow. And that's so true. No matter how hurt, no matter how upset, no matter how disappointed you are, you have to get up and you have to keep moving, because that's what life is about. And you're not going to grow if you stay in the same place that you are and you don't accept the fact that there's change and that there's going to be challenges in your life, because life isn't easy, and it's not, you're not going to get everything your way all the time. And that's good, because then you would never have any experience and you would never have to mature, and you would never, have to just grow up and see things from a different point of view. So my biggest thing that I'm trying to say is, just be happy for the things that you can control, and if you can't, just do everything that you can to change it. And then if you can't, look back on all of your successes and then keep moving forward so that you can keep improving. And then last thing, I'm going to end with the Bible scripture, and it's from Ephesians chapter 6 verse 10, and it says, finally be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might. So if you feel like you're falling off and you need some help, just go to God, pray to God, and he'll help get you back on track, no doubt. Okay, well, that's it. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I love you all. Have a fantabulous rest of your Sunday. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.